Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to a very special reaction review. This is to the 13th episode of MLP, which is the Mean Six. And first off, this is season 8 is halfway over now, and we are now in a mid-season hiatus. And before I start, I do know that Queen Chrysalis is in this episode, and I know that because whenever I was recording episode 12, I happened to glance over to the right, and at the time that I glanced over, I saw Queen Chrysalis on the TV for a promo. Actually, it was whenever I was recording episode 13. Yeah, it was whenever I was recording this episode. I happened to glance to the right, and I saw Queen Chrysalis, and I'm like, well, okay, so she's in this, so she's back. And since it's called the Mean Six, I'm kind of guessing that she probably does something like Discord did, maybe, I don't know. Okay, episode 13, the Mean Six, here we go. 3, 2, 1, click.
I've been planning this retreat for weeks and we're already 10 minutes behind. Where is that photographer? No. I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? I don't expect you to forgive me. Forgive me.
I love her. She's adorable.
Of course. I'll help you set up your... Princess Twilight, thanks so much for this. The Canterlot Historical Society is thrilled to document the friendship work your teachers do. Let me just pretty you all up.
I love her. She's adorable. Green magic.
Hey! Don't want a single hair out of place, do we?
You're Queen Chrysalis.
History books. Now.
You're Queen Chrysalis. You have green magic.
Well, that's that. Bye!
You've got...
I forgot Starlight! She needs a picture too. Okay. Now I'll get out of your reins. I know how busy you are.
You're Chrysalis. Yep. I knew it.
Now I have everything I need.
Still like your other design better, which was adorable. Okay. So, I'm kind of curious right now. Why did she only want to get revenge on the Mean Six? Because it was Starlight who foiled her the last time. She acted like she didn't give a crap about Starlight this time, but she vowed vengeance on her. So I'm wondering what her plan is, why she's only focusing on the Main Six. I'm wondering that. Like, why is she only focusing on them? Strange.
Yes, I know. We have been planning this for quite some time.
For a moment there I thought she had...
Thank you, Applejack. My spell can create a copy of any pony I desire. All I need is an image and a piece of the pony. Oh, and this. Why copies, Rarity? Because Princess Twilight and her friends control the elements of harmony, the most powerful weapon in all Equestria. Which means you will be able to use them too. And serve me. Together we will destroy Twilight Sparkle and her meddlesome friends. Of course I haven't forgotten Starlight Glimmer. She stole my hive, turned my subjects against me.
Whoa.
So I'll take her friends away.
You just went full dog
watches,
right there.
And then I'll destroy her.
Okay.
With the elements under my control, I'll build a new hive of earth ponies, unicorns, and pegasi.
I never noticed it before. It's been a long time.
As queen once again.
But I'm wondering right now if the woman who voices Chrysalis is the same one who voices Trixie, because their voices kind of sound similar. Trixie's voice and Chrysalis' voice kind of sounds similar.
At least our retreat isn't too far behind schedule. Get ready for fun.
Oh look, it's the changelings that always appear outside Canterlot in the Game Walk game that I never bothered to defeat.
We've all been so busy teaching, we've hardly had a chance to hang out with each other. And I may have scheduled some friendship activities as well.
Wonderful.
Count me in. We can do friendship trust falls and pony pyramids. Oh, and hide and seek. Quick, find me. Well, I love the idea of some quiet time with my best friends. You found me! Rarity, why is Applejack carrying all your stuff? Oh, that's not mine. Yes, I used to overpack a tad, but now it's just essentials for me. I'm a simple filly.
Normally I wouldn't lug so much gear, but did y'all know this is Starlight's first time camping?
I just never really felt the need to hang out in nature. Home has books, tea, bugs, a roof.
I can relate to you.
That's why I brought the whole kit and caboodle. I'm giving Starlight the full Apple family
Camo.
camping experience.
I like that. I like the camo. She looks good in camo.
Right next to the elements that brought us all together in the first place. The Tree of Harmony.
Oh my gosh, we're going back there. Been a while.
Listen to your queen. We must retrieve the elements of harmony.
Hunting down some lame elements? This is the worst day ever! No, now it's the worst day ever. Those elements are mine! Along with this rock! Oh, and that twig.
I'm having so many
all
flash.
kinds of elements right here under my hat. I'll let you see them for 5 bits.
I'm having flashbacks
Losers.
to whenever they were
Why
discorded.
didn't you just attack them?
Excuse me?
You were close enough to pull hairs from their manes. Why not just take your revenge then?
They've defeated my army. I know better than to strike alone. I need
Friends?
servants and the power of the elements.
Right. So where are these elements of harmony?
The location of the most powerful weapon in Equestria isn't something made known to just any pony. I learned they were hidden somewhere in this forest.
Yeah, well, it is a big forest.
Dang, she's gonna rip the throat apart.
And smell these roses! Oh yeah. All right, roses, fun. Now, let's try and stay on schedule.
Pinky, watch out for thorns.
Applejack, darling, anything in that wagon for main maintenance?
No.
Let's see here.
I love how
I
easily
got
she
a
just
bandana.
disconnected.
An entire wagon and no antifrizz. Darling, you're not even prepared.
I am for camping. How you doing, Starlight?
Oh my god!
Great. Oh no! You and your sister fell out of your nest and got separated? That's terrible. Here. I'm sure your home isn't too far away.
And Fluttershy's the first one to get captured. Hey, how did you make that so
If we keep
quickly?
stopping to have fun, we're never gonna get to the fun things I've got planned. Good point. Last one to the Tree of Harmony is a Paris prize.
Adorable.
I'm so bored. Are we there yet?
Ha!
Where yet? We don't even know where we're going.
The quicker we search the forest, the quicker we find the elements.
I know where the elements are. This, here boulder just told me. I swear.
They're like the
Tried to
discorded
fly out
version.
of the nest, you fell and got lost. Hope you like walking.
Come get me when I should care.
Again.
Where are the others?
A bugbear in plaid socks flew down and grabbed them, then disappeared. Craziest thing I ever did see.
Turn around. We're going back.
No, keep searching. I'll find the others. We can accomplish more if we split our resources.
Very well.
She's more second.
You
She's
have my permission.
more like second in command.
Permission? You need us way more than we need you, Your Majesty. The others are fools, but with me to lead them, there's no reason we can't find the elements and keep the power for ourselves.
Okay, this is interesting. Uh-oh.
Hey, how'd you get ahead of me? You're fast.
I'm looking for Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash.
Aren't they back there?
They are.
Sure, unless they're already at the Tree of Harmony.
I love this.
What is the Tree of Harmony?
Oh, this is one of your activities, right? Like a friendship quiz? It's the crystal tree that holds the elements of harmony. Boom.
Where is it?
It's at the bottom of the castle of the two sisters. A double boom.
How do you know? You've seen it?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, Twilight, these questions are super easy.
I think it's really cool that right now the only remaining remnants of Chrysalis' army is turning against her. They don't think she's fit to lead. They're power crazy.
Rainbow Dash.
All this is
So
interesting.
glad you're here.
This episode is going to end with a cliffhanger. I know it's not going to be wrapped up.
What just happened?
Fantastic. First Pinky races ahead of us, and now Fluttershy's lost somewhere behind us. My retreat is off to a great start.
It's not like Fluttershy to disappear like this.
We'll split up and search for her. We can all meet back at the tree. Starlight, take the navigation gear
Go
and...
with Rarity. Great. Rainbow Dash, you can go with Applejack.
I'll find Pinkie Pie.
Bored. Bored. Bored.
This is ridiculous.
That's me at work.
Where are my other minions?
Probably plotting to steal my things.
Where's Tom at,
They're a
Rarity?
secret party up in that there tree. Run by a squirrel named, Jerome. But, you need a password to get in.
Enough!
Oh! Whoa!
You will go out there and find the others. You will bring them back here, and we will steal the elements of harmony so I can destroy Starlight's life like she destroyed mine. Understand?
Yeah.
The party password is rutabaga.
Why don't you fly up to your nest? Oh, that's right. You can't. Oh, no pony asked you. I hope you all freeze this winter.
Oh boy.
Hello again, little friend. I think I may be walking in circles.
Uh-oh.
Oh my! Where did you learn that kind of language? Excuse me.
Oh dear.
Finally, you found her.
Uh-oh.
Me? We're looking for Fluttershy.
Where's Starlight?
Well, if I knew that.
Hey! This is mine.
And this as well.
Oh, and this is absolutely mine.
Rarity, what in the hay are you gonna do with a fishing rod?
I don't know, but I want it.
Ow.
Starlight, darling, you're a gloriously bad camper, and coming from me, I'll be saying a lot.
I know. Wanna break it to Applejack for me?
Who's breaking what now? Who are you?
Very funny, Applejack. Still me under all this gear. Starlight.
Starlight? How about that? Y'all better come with me. It's, dangerous out here.
Applejack, darling, are you all right? You look a little peaky. And where's your wagon?
Stolen! I barely got away. Follow me and I'll tell you all about it.
This is going to end with a
There you
cliffhanger.
are. What are you doing? You called that a pop?
I thought you were racing to the retreat.
Please, why would I waste my time on a boring, lame, no-fun retreat?
What?
Oh dear.
Rainbow Dash, I think something's wrong with Pinkie.
Not my problem. And then we all grew super long names with all kinds of colors, and your castle grew out of the ground, and every pony was like, wow! And then we sang the song about rainbows, and... Fluttershy, what's wrong? Every creature is mad at me. What?
Oh boy, I wonder how this is gonna end.
Can we hurry this up? We're on a schedule here. Twilight, your schedule can wait. Fluttershy's upset. Well, tell her to get over it. I'll go get the others. Stay here. Oh, great. You upset Fluttershy too? You know what, Twilight?
Oh no.
Maybe if you weren't so worried about schedules, you'd realize you're the one ruining the retreat for your friends. Well, if my friends don't care about the retreat I planned for them, maybe they should have stayed home. Can't we all just get along?
The fandom in general!
You need those imbeciles if your plan is gonna come together.
Your plan?
Oh.
The plan. I'm just trying to do your bidding, Your Majesty.
Grub sitting you six is nothing like controlling my hive. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't just destroy you all and start over.
Because I know where the elements of harmony are.
I love that!
You need me.
I love that! So wicked, I love it.
I'm guessing some kind of curse? Maybe poison joke?
Well, something sure ain't right.
What are you plotting back there? I can hear you, you know. Don't think you're going to steal my things!
Oh,
Hang on. I got a shovel we can use to whack those vines
it's
out.
over there.
I knew it! I knew you wanted it all for yourselves! You can't have it! It's mine, you hear me? Oh, mine!
So there I was, just me and a bucket of honey. Yeah, that's a ticket. But I survived all by myself in this here forest for
Yeah, I just now noticed I can't believe I didn't notice that before,
27
but
hours.
she has green apples
Really?
on her
Can't
flank.
believe
How
I've
did
never
they not
told
notice
that
the green?
story before.
She's making a point. We get it. You're the greatest camper in the history of Equestria.
Well, I sure don't need any of that silly stuff you're lugging around.
The things you gave me are silly?
Just look in a mirror. Guess I should have told you that before, huh?
Oh man. Oh, hat hair.
Glad I was so entertaining for you.
I'm going to make sure that she doesn't break a hoof out there, and then you and I are going to have a serious talk.
Oh.
Finally! There, that's all of you. No pony leaves without my say-so.
Now, wait a second. Weren't you just...
The time for my revenge on Starlight Glimmer has
It
come!
almost went right through your head.
Let's see if you're telling the truth about this tree.
They'll turn on her. They'll turn on her.
Starlight! Oh, please stop running!
Whoa, Cliff! Ow.
Of course I care about Fluttershy.
Then you got a super weird way of showing it? What in Equestria is going on here? Twilight is so into her retreat that she doesn't even care if her friends are upset. She just wants us to stay on schedule.
Well, I'm sorry, Pinky. If I knew you thought this was a boring, lame, no-fun retreat, I wouldn't have invited you in the first place.
I never said that!
Sorry, y'all. We would have been here sooner, but we had to take the long way after Rarity ran off with all my stuff.
I most certainly did not.
What? You know I ain't no liar. Where's all your gear?
Why? So you can laugh at me some more?
Hey, we're all friends here. Friends? You left me alone in the woods. She's my friend, and I'll be back in my everybody quiet!
Listen, we know each other really well. The great stuff. And how to get on each other's nerves, too. I wanted a fun trip with my friends. But instead I got carried away with plans and ruined everything. If you want to forget it all and head home, I won't be offended. I just want us to stop fighting.
Hey, sorry if I got carried away with all that camping stuff.
I'm sorry, too. I should have just told you I'll never like camping. Also, I'll never like camping.
We're all being honest. I can't survive with just this tiny, fashionable little saddlebag. I miss my things!
I'm sorry that you thought that I thought your plan was lame. Your plans are the most unlamest.
And I always have fun when we're all together.
Guys, there's still the issue of you need to figure out what's going on.
Does that mean you still want to have the retreat?
Yes!
Guys?
Every pony likes me again. Let's get to that tree. I have the whole campsite set up and ready.
Oh boy, they'll run into them. Ooh, that's beautiful.
What's
I wish you could go back to the tree in the cell phone game.
That's your installation art. You see, just retrieve the elements.
Once we get the power of the elements, no creature, not even Her Majesty, can tell us what to do. Just follow my lead. Got it? Woo! That one's mine! Oops. I'd say sorry, but I'm not. Stop it, fools. We need the elements to take out Chrysalis.
How dare you! I created you!
Oh, dang! Oh boy. You created... Stop, Twilight! Who's more powerful than you? And the trees. What the... Huh? Oh my... freak...
Imbeciles! You ruined everything!
Oh my...
Servants always fail you in the end. Just wait,
Dang!
Starlight. I will have my revenge!
Are you kidding me?
A bugbear did it!
This was the worst day ever!
Yeah? It's not over
Come on,
yet.
every pony. We can fix this campsite in no time.
Don't
Looking like a true camper.
run.
Don't push it.
You
Run!
know, if we can survive a day like this,
Run!
I think our
You
friendship
won't
is
survive,
strong enough
run!
to handle anything the world can throw at us.
Wait, what? Huh? That's it? Okay. That's it? Like, no confrontation. Okay. I was not expecting that ending. I was expecting a confrontation between everyone. I was expecting the main six to get captured. And there to be like the episode to end on a cliffhanger. Leading up to the second episode. I was not expecting that ending. That took me by surprise. I mean, I'm not disappointed, it's just I was not expecting that ending. I mean, there was, like a pretty big build-up there. So, okay, yeah. I was expecting the ending for this was really abrupt. And I'm not complaining with that. Like, it just seemed very, very abrupt. Because I was anticipating one of a few different scenarios to go down. Scenario 1, the main six, and that was what I was betting on, was the main six was going to get captured by Chrysalis, and the main six and Chrysalis were going to capture the main six, and that was how the episode was going to end, and it was going to be a cliffhanger until the second half of season 8 started. However, that didn't happen. The other scenario I thought is they might possibly defeat Chrysalis. Another scenario was, I thought maybe they would encounter, was the main six would encounter Chrysalis and the mean six in the cave, and then Chrysalis would actually try to get her hoo-hoos on the Elements of Harmony, but they would not end up, but the mean six would end up taking them and overthrowing Chrysalis, and so then Chrysalis as well would be at the mercy of the mean six. However, none of that happened. Instead, at the end of the episode, with the main six finding the campsite, laughing about it, and Chrysalis, her plans falling to pieces, and her flying off into the moonlight. And I honestly didn't think that they could end the episode without having the confrontation in 4 minutes. But it happened. It happened, and that shocked the crap out of me. I didn't expect that to happen. So, now, there were 3 different stories going on here. And first off, you had Twilight and her friends all wanting to have a friendship excursion together, a friendship retreat, just go on a trip together, which I think is great. I think it was wonderful, and I also love the fact that Starlight Glimmer was there, as you know, with them as well. Well, it wasn't just the main 6; it was the main 7. Starlight was there as well. I love that. I love that they were including her as well. And then you also had Chrysalis, who I think is becoming a little bit crazy, and she created the mean six from bark, it appears, and she was wanting to try to get revenge on Starlight. So she's still heck bent on getting revenge on Starlight for what she believes destroying her life. And you also had the mean six, who was very interesting because they wanted to overthrow Chrysalis and wanted to defeat her and take the power for themselves. And I brought up the question of, I wondered, why were the mean six? Why were they evil? Was it because Chrysalis herself is evil right now, and so her magic is evil, and so that's why they were evil? Or could it be that the Everfree Forest is naturally evil, and so anything that's turned into a living thing like that is evil? I don't know. But it is an interesting theory. You know, it is an interesting thought. Another thing, of course, like I said, is the mean six, they wanted to try to take control, and like you kind of wonder what would they have done with the Elements of Harmony. And we also know, of course, that the main six had to give back the elements to the Tree of Harmony in order to protect the tree, in order to help the tree, because the vines that were growing up from the seeds that Discord had planted decades and decades before were just beginning to grow, and so they had to give the elements back. And so, in a sense, the elements seemed to act almost like a firewall, like some sort of defense mechanism to protect itself against the mean six. It was able to like sap the life from them, and it melted them, and it transformed them back into bark. And so apparently Chrysalis found out she can't steal the elements as easily as she thought she could. So how she's going to get them, I have no idea. If she's going to go with that plan, I have no idea. But if Chrysalis tried to get it, I don't know what would have happened to her. But yeah, but she, like I said, she wants revenge on Starlight. She wants revenge on Starlight for ruining her life. She's not focusing on the main six now. She did defeat them before, but now she wants revenge on Starlight. And I'm kind of thinking, you know, it would be easy enough for Chrysalis to get revenge on Starlight. All she has to do, go in there, mask, you know, she's a changeling, change into one of Starlight's friends, act hateful, angry to her, be bitter, and, you know, like that right there would actually work. And I think it would be a very cool scene if she did that with Sunburst. And at first Starlight's hurt because at first she thinks it's Sunburst, but then she realizes that it's not. She begins to think about it and realizes it's not. And then she ends up like Sunburst himself appears, the real Sunburst, and like Starlight Starlight hugs him. Another really cool thing that I would like to see is possibly if Starlight and Sunburst could actually fight Chrysalis together. That would be freaking boss. Another really interesting thing a theory that I have for the ending is how could Starlight defeat Chrysalis? And I think it should be Starlight that does it because, you know, it seems fair because Starlight is the one who defeated Chrysalis before, yes, but Chrysalis is vowing vengeance on Starlight, so I think it should be Starlight who defeats her. But I'm kind of wondering, like, how will Starlight be able to defeat her? Will there be a moment where Starlight has to, kind of sink down into some sort of darkness? Like, she has to bring back memories of her past. She has to sort of let some darkness, like, envelop her in order for her to be able to defeat Chrysalis. I hope that's not the case. Another cool thought is, like, what if she thinks she has to sacrifice herself to save every pony, and, you know, her friends are like, don't do it, but she's like, I have to do this, and so she does it. They think she's gone, but she's actually completely 100% okay. And there's a scene where they see she's okay. She walks up to them and they just hug her, you know, because she's fine. I would also really like to see a scene where, personally, if it were me, I'd love to see a scene where, like, Starlight and Sunburst could be standing up against Chrysalis, and Chrysalis could, like, use her magic to fling Sunburst across the room, and, like, you see how worried Starlight is. Whenever she sees it, Starlight kind of snaps, like, you just messed with her best friend in the whole world, and so, like, you mess with him, you're waving the red flag in front of the bull. You know, you're going to get the horns, and that, I think, will be also really cool to see. Like, in a sense, it like, that could honestly work. It would be a devious ploy, but it would work because you could kind of say that Sunburst is Starlight's Achilles heel, and vice versa. But again, I don't really know what they're going to do. All that stuff would totally work in fan fiction. Heck, I could do it. But another thing that I'm also wondering, that I'm thinking, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. I really think that right now, and I could be wrong, but I'm kind of thinking that Chrysalis will be the final villain. I don't want to think that season 9, I really don't want to think about season 9 being the final season, you know. I don't want to think that far. I really don't want to think about it. But if I do, I kind of see Chrysalis, I mean, who knows? Chrysalis might be the villain at the end of season 8, but I kind of more see her being the main villain. Like, somehow she succeeds. Like, in her quest for ultimate power, I guess you could probably say she's like Sasuke from Naruto. No, I don't watch Naruto. I remember a cousin of mine used to really love it, and I remember he used to tell me about how most of the manga was focusing on Sasuke and his quest for power, and some sort of joke about the creator. I remember him telling me something about, somebody said something about the creator of Naruto was like gay for Sasuke or something, because it was mostly focusing on Sasuke. But, like, Chrysalis is like, she's like Sasuke, I guess. She's in a lust for revenge, a lust for power, and so she becomes a little demented over time. And you can kind of see it here. Like, she's kind of beginning to lose it a bit. She's also becoming desperate, and she's really furious. But I'm also wondering how that's going to work. Like, how is she going to get revenge? And like I said, I'm kind of thinking she's going to be the final villain. Like, whenever it's all said and done, at the end of the show, at the end of the series, she's going to be the final villain. I could be wrong, but that's that's also kind of what I'm thinking. And a few different things that I wanted to kind of go over with the story. I love the fact that all the main 6 here are, well, okay, the main 7 is going on a nice little camping trip together. I love that. It's cute. It's sweet. We don't often get to see that very much, of them just going on a little excursion together, you know, just them having fun. It's not often we get to see that, so I really love that. I really love that they're doing that. It's also really cool that Starlight is also part of that party, and she's going along as well. And, like, out of all of them, she's the only one who doesn't really want to get involved with camping. And again, I really relate to her. I honestly really relate to Starlight because I mean, I love nature, and I'm totally up for hiking or bike riding. Looking at nature scenery, things like that. I love that. Yes. But yeah, I'm like Starlight. I'm kind of more an indoorsy type. Like, I go outside, there's the heat, there's the gnats and mosquitoes and bees, hornets, yellow jackets, just all of that, fear of snakes, and just like kind of insects in general. And so yeah, I'm not really, I mean, I love spring, I love summer, and yeah, I love nature, but I'm just not exactly a complete 100% outdoorsy type of individual. So I really relate to Starlight here. I've never been camping in my life. The closest thing I ever was I stayed in an uncle's pole camper one night at the lake, and that was just one night. And if I were to go camping, I would not do the regular pup tent that they have. I honestly probably wouldn't do that. I would be more comfortable with the Class A motorhome. Just give me a Winnebago Chieftain. I'm totally fine. And yeah, I know some people are going to say that's not camping. Yeah, I know it's not camping in that sense, but hey, you're still outdoors, But again, I love the fact that Starlight was tagging along, and again, here she was, the representation pretty much of me. You have the mosquitoes flying around, and just like I just want to retreat back inside where I have air conditioning, where I have tea, and a roof over my head. So yeah, I can fully relate to Starlight here. I am 100% like her there. And again, I really also enjoyed the concept of the Mean Six because every single one of them were unique, and it reminded me of whenever Discorded them at during season 2, in the beginning of season 2, whenever he discorded them, and every single one of them pretty much acting the exact opposite of their original selves. It was really interesting to be able to see that, and how they were kind of working together, the Bark versions of the characters. But it was interesting because out of all of them, they were kind of working together, but the Twilight version one was really the one focusing on everything, and she was the one that was kind of planning, and she wanted to get to the elements. And the kind of question is, would she actually have kept the other Barklings, I'll say, around, or would she have destroyed them and tried to take over for herself? I don't know. I guess that's left up to interpretation as to what could have happened. But we do know Chrysalis can create life, somewhat, artificial life, from trees, from inanimate objects, by getting a single strand or lock of hair from them and having a picture. So yeah, so that's interesting. But again, it was really, I love the fact that at the end of it all, whenever the main six find their campsite completely destroyed, I mean, Pinky just laughs and says it's the worst camping trip ever, and they all just laugh instead of letting it upset them, instead of being downtrodden over it. Instead, they're totally cool. I mean, they're just happy. They're alive. They're still friends. They're together. And so that's what they're focusing on, and they're not letting that, destroy them. They might not have had the best camping trip, but I mean, it was still interesting, and they still have each other. They're still friends, and so yeah, so that was really, really cool, and I love that. And it was really cool. It was a very lighthearted ending, and honestly, it's true, because too many times, you get upset by something, and instead of looking at it from a more lighthearted perspective, I completely understand that. I'm guilty of it myself, and I'm going to be guilty of it. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm going to totally learn from this episode. I'm not going to learn jack. I'm going to go on with the rest of my life, and I'm going to completely ignore that little bitty moral there. Because how many of us will do that? But again, like I said, Chrysalis' plans were completely foiled, And very, very interesting there. And so I'm wondering how she's going to get revenge. Will she still seek revenge using the elements? Or will she find another means? And like I said, she has been away for so long. She's been away. She has no idea what has changed. There's been a lot that has happened since she's been away that she doesn't know about. And so I'm wondering, how did she find out about the elements? And who told her? And also, will she continue to use the elements? Try to use the elements? I don't think she can get the elements from the tree, because the tree, the tree defended itself, so how can she get the elements? I have no idea. Is there a possibility that she, I don't know, it's a theory, but is there a possibility she could break Tirak out of Tartarus? Sorry, out of Tartarus and team up with him? It's doubtful, because that's one thing you learn. You never have two villains team up together, because they're always going to stab each other in the back. So yeah, but again, I really love this episode, I gotta say. I do still feel that the ending was really abrupt and ended very quickly, and it did not end whatsoever like I planned. I honestly, I would have pretty much bet money that this episode was going to end with a cliffhanger, with with the main 7 being captured, and us having to wait until the start of second half of season 8 before we found out what the conclusion was. I was honestly expecting that. I was not expecting the ending to go the way that it did. I was not. So that really took me by surprise. But again, I really did enjoy this episode. It's not my most favorite of the series, and it's not my most favorite of this particular season, but I did still love the episode, and there was still some really good stuff in it, which I will explain here. But again, story-wise, I really enjoyed it. We had 3 different stories going on at the same time, and so I'm really curious as to, we had a good setup for Chrysalis. We know she still wants revenge. We know she's still heck bent on that, so I'm just wondering how that's going to play out, what we're going to see with her in the future. She has no army. She's alone now. I'm just wondering, what can she do on her own? What's going to happen? And how will Starlight and the rest of them be able to defeat her? What's going to happen in the future? But again, I do love this episode. Again, I do have other favorites of the season, but again, there are still some really good things in this episode, which I will go over as well right now. And I gotta say, Chrysalis' form as this character here, Ladybug, or Buggybug, whatever her name is, she's adorable. I gotta say, she's adorable. I love her look. Yeah, I know it's Chrysalis in disguise, but my gosh, this character is adorable. I love her look. She's just so cute. How could you not? That's just cute. She's adorable. But the title of this particular one that I had of the video that I downloaded is Pahat Ponet. Not sure if that's a different language. The title says to mean 6. I'm not going to question it. Somebody can identify it. But honestly, this moment whenever Chrysalis was walking around in the forest and she was talking to herself, I honestly thought, no joke, I honestly thought at first she had like a cell phone and she was talking to herself, like not to herself, sorry, but she was talking to somebody else on the other line. I honestly thought that for like a split second, and then for another split second I thought how cool that would be, and then the next second, then after that, then I realized, oh, there's no cell phone here apart from Discord, so that's not going to happen. But like I said, it's right here that we see that Chrysalis is acting completely different. Like, she's not exactly as menacing as she has been, and so that's why I think her lust for revenge, her quest for it, is beginning to take its toll on her mentality and her emotions. Like, it's wearing her down, and she's becoming mentally unstable and emotionally unstable. I really think it's taking its effect on her. She's still evil, yes. She has a quest for revenge, but I really think it's beginning to take its effect on her. And I gotta say, I've never seen anyone I can't get that. Like, I've never seen anybody snarl like this. And, oh, first time I've ever seen Chrysalis snarl like this. She went complete dog here. That snarl. And I gotta say, this moment whenever Rarity makes a mention about pretty much she's now carrying a fanny pack, a little pocket pack or whatever, instead of the big cart, and she makes a mention about you used to carry all that big stuff. I'm kind of thinking to myself, yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that, girl. No way. It's a kind of small thing, but yeah, Starlight looks good in camo. She looks good in camo. I'm just wondering why the orange. Like, wouldn't that make you visible? In this moment, I honestly love this moment whenever the bark Twilight, instead of a changeling, and since she was made from tree bark, I'm going to call her a barkling. Whenever Barkling Twilight started to converse with Chrysalis about her plans, and honestly, yeah, it's true. Like you were right there. Why didn't you just their necks right there? But Chrysalis did have an opportunity right there, but she said she could not handle them on her own. And to be honest, both are right. Both are right and both are wrong. If you think about it, yeah, honestly, no joke. How many times have you watched a TV show or a movie and you see or played a video game and you think you could have saved the next hour or several hours of the story simply by taking this one action right now. By taking this one action. Like a villain, you're like, you already know they're evil. Instead of standing here talking to them, just put a bullet in their head. Yo, save the next several hours of story. Save all the trouble you have to go through. If it's a bad guy, if it's like a villain in a horror movie, you're like, just cut his head off, put it in concrete, and you're good. Like, you can enjoy the rest of your summer without the killer chasing after you. And honestly, this right here really does touch upon that topic. It's subtle, it's brief, but yeah, it really does touch upon that topic of questioning, you were right there amongst them, why didn't you do something? And yeah, Bark Twilight was right. Chrysalis could have done something right there. I mean, she does have power, but she could have done something. But Chrysalis is also right, because here was Starlight and Twilight both who can use magic and are both incredibly powerful. I'm leaving Rarity out of this equation because Rarity does have power, but she does not have the power that Twilight or Starlight does. She don't even have half the power of one of them, I don't believe. So, yeah, both were right and both were wrong here. But I really did like this interaction because it was at this point that you could kind of tell that the Barkling was beginning to question. I mean, it was the case, of the underlings or the next in line, like the army beginning to question their leaders' motives, their authority, their morale. And here, Bark Twilight was beginning to question, are you fit to lead us? You're right there. You're making a bad decision. Are you fit to lead us? And here Chrysalis is like, pretty much, do not judge me. I created you. Do not judge my plans. Yes, I am fit to lead you. I am merely biding my time, waiting for the right moment. And so you had two different perspectives here. And she was also beginning to think, she was beginning to question their loyalty to her. She was beginning to question that. And so you had an interesting tension between these two here, which was really, really interesting. I really liked that conflict there. They were both, Bark Twilight was pretending to work with Chrysalis, but long enough for her to get in there. And again, it was devious, but I love how they did that. Honestly, I really love that they did not have the Mean Six be completely loyal to Chrysalis, because it would have been too easy. I love how that they had that tension between them as like, are you sure you're fit to lead us? And Chrysalis was like, yes, I'm certain I am fit to lead you, you wretched, putrid microbes. And then she has to question their loyalty to her. I really love that conflict and how that played out. It was really, really well done. Just the way that they conversed with her. And honestly, Bark Twilight had some great faces in this episode. Like, hooves down, man, she had some great faces in this episode. And I love how that it was also what she was saying. Like, honestly, I would have to say Bark Twilight was the more intelligent one here. She was the more cunning. She was the more intellectual one of these two, because she was more cunning with her plans. She was willing to work with Chrysalis until she got to her goal. She was willing to work under her until she got to the point to where she could rise above her. Chrysalis, however, she is kind of becoming demented. It seems she is becoming power crazy. And so she's kind of becoming desperate, and she's kind of more on edge, and so more prone to make a mistake. Twilight is more cunning and is more willing to take a step back and follow a plan through and let it work. And she's manipulative, and it works for her, and she was trying to use that to her advantage. With Chrysalis, however, again, she's more angry, and so she's like throwing her authority more around, and she's more prone to make a mistake. She's becoming sort of she's not exactly as trusting, but she's too trusting. And so yeah, both lose in the end. But I gotta say, between these two, I would have to say, although Chrysalis' plan was really devious, I really like Bark Twilight here. I honestly do, man. I know she was a villain, but I really like her. I like how she played it. I loved her cunning and her slyness and smirkiness and her bluntness to her authority figure, to like her boss. I love that. And that's probably why that I do love it, is because I relate to that. You know, I think it's probably wise because I do relate to that. But but again, Bark Twilight was not willing to let Chrysalis walk all over her, and she was just kind of stood up to her and is like, fine. Like, she was bold, and you could tell it was beginning to wear on Chrysalis' nerves, and I love how that happened. I really love that. And honestly, I love that dynamic right there. It really, really worked. And it's pretty much like you have the villain, whom you think is the villain, the main villain, and then you have the kind of second in command. You have the henchman, who is actually more cunning, more intelligent than the bad guy, and than the main bad guy, and it's them who rises up. So yeah, really interesting with that, and I love that. I really do. I love it. Another brief thing that I have to take note of here is whenever Applejack, how quickly she just disconnected from this thing here and walked out of it. Really like how just swiftly and quickly she just disconnected from that and walked out of that cart. However, I have to question gravity here, because there's weight on the front with this, so wouldn't it tilt forward? Just saying. And especially with Applejack leaning on it, rummaging through the stuff. And I have to question, like right here with Tara and her voicing Evil Twilight, I gotta wonder, man, I'm just curious, all the voice actors here, how much fun did they have voicing the evil versions of their characters? I mean, I know they did it back in Season 2. But Tara didn't have a chance back then to do Evil Twilight. Here she had a chance to do it. And honestly, out of all the characters, Evil Twilight shined here. She really did, because she had the best dialogue, she had the best scenes, and she had the best cunning plan. And so I love that. And so I gotta wonder how much, like, honestly, Tara had to have had a lot of fun doing this. And it's also cool because this is a very different dynamic. You know, normally Tara's playing the main protagonist, you know, the hero. Here she has a chance to play the villain who is her character, but is evil. And okay, I know she did it with, I think, with one of the MLP movies, the Human movies. I haven't seen it. I'm leaving that out of the equation here because I'm going with the pony version. But again, I love that. And I'm not saying that I want Twilight to be evil. I don't. But again, it's a change in the formula. It's brief, and so I love it whenever you kind of get that brief change. Again, I want Twilight to stay a protagonist, but I gotta say, it's cool to see that cunning, conniving, deceiving concept with Twilight here. And the way that Tara pulled it off was just phenomenal. She did such a fantastic job. And again, some of the, honestly, personally for me, Evil Twilight, she made the best scenes in this movie. She made the best scenes in this. She did. Like, honestly, I have to say, for me personally, Bark Twilight stole the show here. She stole the show. And how she was like, I love the scene here where, her wings, her feathers are together. It's like hands, like, yes. Yes. You're playing into my plan. I love that. It's so cool. You can tell I'm part evil, can't you? And of course we got the ref, and I gotta say, Pinky, my gosh. Pinky goes back. I'm trying to get a screen cap of that. Fluffy, fuzzy hair, multicolored Pinky. From whenever they defeated... What was... from whenever they opened the box. Yeah, from whenever they opened the box. From whenever they opened the box. And everybody had the rainbow manes and everything. And I think the fandom was making jokes that everybody became an alicorn. There were horns and wings in the box for every pony. They were wrong. I'm glad. Nothing changed. Okay, so Twilight's house got blown up and she got a new house. But, and then how? Okay, I know it's Pinky, but, like, how did this girl get a small replica of Twilight's house? Oh, it's cardboard. Oh, it's cardboard. I just noticed that. I didn't notice that before, but it's cardboard. That's good. That's a prop. Does Pinky carry that? It's Pinky, never mind. I should not question this. And I gotta say, this part with Fluttershy, why can't we all just get along? I think about that with the fandom often. And I don't mean that in a bad way. And I know some people are probably wondering, what do you mean by that? What I mean is, simply put, there are some people in the fandom who are disruptive. They give the rest of the fandom a bad name. You have people out there who basically, they don't respect other people's opinions. They want to force their own opinion on others. They cannot respect something to be as it is. They're just more negative, more hateful to other members of the community. They're just disruptive. And so yeah, I feel this way with Fluttershy. Like, why can't we all just get along? And again, I love this fandom. I do. I absolutely love this fandom. And there's a lot of great people in it. And I'm not just saying that. I really mean that. But there are those in this fandom that give the rest of us a bad name. And who are disruptive, who cause chaos. They are the true Discord here. And we're just kind of go about our own thing and just try to ignore them. It would be cool if we could all just get along, but it's never going to happen in any fandom. And I have to say, that moment whenever Chrysalis tells Twilight, is like, she's getting ready to confront Bark Twilight, but then Twilight, I love that look. Dang it, I love that look. I love how Twilight just slowly raises her head, and that menacing shadow look, like, you need me. I know where the tree is. You need me. And if you want me to tell, basically you leave me alive. You've got two choices here. You can trust me, or you can destroy me. And if you destroy me, it's basically, I know the truth. And if you kill me, you're never going to find out. And I love, that was Evil Twilight's trump card right there. That was her trump card. She knew where it was located. And she told her, you need me. I love that. That was so freaking boss. That was in your face. And that was literally in your face, biatch. And I love that, man. That was so freaking sweet. I love that. That was freaking boss. I love it. And I have to say, this moment, whenever they were trying to get the shovel from Rarity, I was wondering a couple of different things here. Like, was this Bark, like, gonna become so emotionally distraught by trying to gather all of this that it would suddenly transform again back into Bark? My second thought was, were they just going to kind of lose it and just hit her on the head with the shovel and knock her out to calm her down? That actually would have been funny. And I really do love this little scene whenever they all just made up and they realized, let's just stop fighting. We're fighting over some stupid reasons. Let's just stop fighting. I love that. Very sweet, very cute. But I also love that little scene whenever Starlight is like, I still hate camping. Not gonna change. I still hate camping. I love that. Again, this scene is just so cute. Look at this. Look at this scene. This is so cute. All of them together. I love it. Why am I talking differently? I do that sometimes. So cute. Like, Every pony's up for belly rubs. Belly rub all the ponies. And again, I love the fact that we actually got to go back to the Tree of Harmony, because we haven't been there since, I think, since at the end of Season 4. With the keys, we haven't been to the Tree of Harmony since at the end of Season 4. So, very cool to be able to see that. I love the camping scene here that they have. Very, very lovely. I love that. Very, very beautiful. And like I said, I wish you could go back to the Tree of Harmony. Once you finish the Tree of Harmony, the game in the cell phone game, you can't go back to the Tree of Harmony. All you can do is tap on the screen. You can't go back to the Tree of Harmony. Why not? I want to see it again. I spent so much time collecting all those freaking shards. The least you can do is let me go back and see the tree. Okay, yes, I know you get the one that you can put in Ponyville, but still seeing the actual tree itself would be grand. And, of course, it was at this point right here that it's also interesting to note. I mean, it's something interesting that, and this is something that I have to question, because this is cool, but confusing at the same time. Chrysalis created Twilight Bark Twilight from a tree. And she had all of the power, the magical capabilities, and flying capabilities of Twilight. I'm guessing that came from the strand of hair, DNA possibly, DNA, characteristics, possibly, and that infused itself into that. So, Chrysalis was her own undoing here, ironically. She created a replica of Twilight who was evil, but she also, the replica, had equal power to Twilight. And thus, that equal was able to magically overthrow Chrysalis. And so, yeah, it was pretty much like Chrysalis literally created a replica. And look at this face of determination. She is ready to rip Chrysalis apart. And then she smiles because she knows she has more power. It's like she was holding it back. And I gotta say, that little nose scrunchie is cute. She was holding it back. Chrysalis is trying with all her might. And she's all like, it's like 60-40. But then Twilight is like, yo, I'm firing my laser. And boom, she is just about, I mean, she's ready to blast her. And Chrysalis realizes, oh crap, this is bad, I'm going to lose. I mean, she's straining. And then the tree grabs them all, and Chrysalis would have lost. She would have had a hole blasted through her skull if the tree hadn't have intervened at that point and grabbed them. It was at this point that Chrysalis realized, what is going on? Something is going on. This was not in my plan. And then every single one of them begins to, like, transform back into bark, melt, and wither away. Cue the scene of the Wicked Witch of the West in Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. I'm melting, melting. And I saw somebody with this, I think, over on Facebook, and I'm like, whoa, okay, what is going on here? What kind of acid trip are we on? So that's what it was. It wasn't actually Twilight, but like the tree just transforms them back into bark, and Chrysalis is wondering what is going on here. So yeah, very, very interesting with that. But yeah, it ends happily with the main six still being okay. They're all cool. Everything's good. It ends with Chrysalis' homemade army. And again, I gotta wonder, how is it that a piece of bark, I'm guessing it's the DNA. That's the only thing I can come up with. It was the DNA from Twilight's strand of hair that infused that DNA and those characteristics and those magical capabilities and flying capabilities. It infused that from the DNA into the tree bark, and thus enabled fake Twilight, replica Twilight, to have every bit as much power. Which ultimately was, again, it was Chrysalis' own undoing, because she created that. She created that. I've seen that story before. I can't remember what it was, but we have seen that where, like, the creation turns against its creator. And so, yeah, I mean, we've seen that gimmick before, but it was very interesting here. But it does make you wonder, if they hadn't have defeated Chrysalis, what kind of battle would that have been between Twilight and fake Twilight? Because they're both equal. That would have been the battle of the century, yo. But again, I did love this episode. There was a lot kind of here going on, and I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that you wonder, like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? But yeah, I do love this episode, and it was really cool, and it was a very interesting episode for the 13th episode to go into the hiatus for season 8. Really cool. I loved it. But again, really interesting. And so again, everybody that worked on this episode, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much, Hasbro DHX. Thank you all so much for a great first half of season 8. Thank you all so much. And everybody that worked on these episodes and this episode, thank you so much. Thank you. And to everybody else as well, thank you guys again for joining me. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments as well. Thank you guys again for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video that I do. Take care. And until the second half of season 8 begins, pony on!